Hey folks, it's Glenn with the Cactus Atlas, and today I'm exploring Canyonlands, the Islands in the Sky area. Okay, I just parked at the visitor center, but I saw this across the street, and we're in a section called the Island in the Sky, and I can already see why this got that name. Holy moly, that's like the Grand Canyon. And you can see the La Salle Mountains in the background collecting their clouds to build up for storms later, I'm sure. Wow. Wow, this cliff here just drops almost sheer. And the depth is, wow, that's dizzying. Look at that road. I see passenger cars on it. I think I've seen this somewhere else. That might be one of the activities of the day. So you want to stick around if that's true, because you get to see me drive on this very precarious cliffside going down. It looks passable, but it's like a one-laner. I hope it's one way. Okay, now that I'm here, this is going to be an adventure. I just like these unplanned things in places like this. How they inspire, energize. I am full on ready to make a video today, folks. I've been here to Canyonlands in this specific section of the park. So keep in mind there are different sections and it could take hours to get to them. But I've been here and I did one really long hike around the Upheaval Dome, something we're gonna see later. Not into it, but all the way around it. It was like almost a whole day for me. And I actually have footage I recorded back then and I documented the whole thing. So I was a YouTuber before I knew it. So everybody I can just settle that right now. I'm an original documenter of stuff like that. But back then I did it more for just proving a point to other people, or just like for like sharing it with a family. That was really as far as it went. But here I am today doing it now. All right, so I'm at the Island in the Sky Visitor Center here at Canyonlands. And I'm gonna go figure out how to drive that road. Okay, so I'm back from the visitor center, and it was a decent visitor center, pretty small. They have a few displays, your typical stuff. They talk about the geology of the area, the plant life of the area, the history of the area in terms of the people that used to call this area home, the natives, and some basic information about the park. I did inquire with the ranger in there about the Shafer Trail Road to figure out if it's suitable for a vehicle like this or the ones that I saw driving down it. I'm here at the Island of the Sky Visitor Center, and you can see the Shafer Trail Road go down this way. And it's marked as a four-wheel drive road, but the guy says it's suitable for passenger cars, at least based on the recent weather. Because I'm in a higher clearance vehicle, an SUV, he thinks I could easily drive all the way down this like Potash Road back into Moab. So that would really take me pretty far back to where I started today. Had I known that was there, maybe I should have come this way. But anyway, he did say that anything else, he would recommend four-wheel drive. So I don't know if they're being conservative, but I'm gonna pay attention. He did, however, say that it is two ways. I was surprised to hear that. So if I drive down and wanna stop down there, I can turn around and come back up. I'm gonna try to do that actually, but before we do, I'm gonna go focus on some of these other major areas, some things that I wanna see. The first one I think is gonna be this Upheaval Dome area. So we're gonna head over there, and if there's anything interesting along the way, we'll stop, and I'll certainly be filming from the cockpit. And this is the drive into the park. So far, lots of like the sandstone characteristic of Utah, very pretty. Oh wow, you can now start to see out in the distance the views that I'm familiar with from when I came here last time. So I think we want to go right, because there's another point we're going to go to, another major point called Grand Viewpoint. And a few little hikes along the way. Looking at the trail guide book, we are going to be on foot today a few times. So I think it's going to be a good adventure. All right. right, since this is probably one of the main points on a map here, we'll see how crowded this is. Hopefully we can find parking. Looks like there's some overflow if needed. Probably meant for RVs, but I fear there's many cars that are in front of me too. It might be tight. Let's see. Oh yeah. Welcome to Utah in the summer, folks. Oh my God, I lucked out so much. Upheaval Dome, here we come. And I'm approaching this in a double-fisted manner. I'm just bringing a water with me. I don't feel like hauling my whole backpack up for this pretty short hike, but it's hot. And then there is a steep uphill section over there, just to get to the overlook, by the way. We're not hiking anything substantial here today yet. That's really beautiful landscape though, just a lot of sandstone, pinyon pine, and heat. It's hot. I would say in the 90s probably. So there's two overlooks. One's 1/3 of a mile and one is 1/8 of a mile. And then that syncline loop is what I did. I guess it's only 8 miles long, but it's a humdinger. I'll tell you that. It's a nice trail though. They built stairs here to make it easier, I guess. Oh my. It's starting to reveal itself and it's gigantic. The color is fantastic. I see blue, gray, yellow, red. So strange. I'm gonna go sneak down there and peek over the edge. See what we're looking at over here. I don't know if we're gonna have like a vertical drop over here or what this is. Looking across the way, I could see that being a thing. Oh boy. I have to imagine there's a pretty steep drop at the edge over here. Just don't fall and roll. That's all you gotta do, right? Oh man. I don't know if it's as sheer of a face as across the way, but you'd have a very bad day if you fell down here. This kind of reminds me a lot of the Artist Drive in Death Valley. There's a lot of like interesting like color and sediments like that. I don't even know what that is. It's like a weird mix of stuff that I guess the meteorite impact forced up, assuming it was a meteorite impact. Once again, that's the main theory according to the sign out front. I don't know how recent that info is or if it's changed or if there's been new science since that was printed on that sign, but if it's accurate, yeah, you might be looking at the site of a meteorite impact. You can hike down inside of there also. In fact, I can see a trail down there, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it goes all the way around, I don't think it does, but I don't know, being down there, if it would look as good. The signs indicate that you're gonna get a better view of it from up top than if you were to hike down below. But that would be an interesting thing to experience at the very least. It's also kind of interesting to think that this is really the only section of Canyonlands I've ever experienced, because when I was here last time, the only other time, like I said, I did the Syncline Loop Trail that goes all the way around this thing, and it took me most of the day, and that's all I did. So today's kind of neat because I never experienced most of the rest of the stuff we're gonna see from this point out. All right, I was correct. The second overlook is a half mile from here, so we still have the bulk of the hike left. I noticed little different spots to come take looks from different angles. And this is better over here than it was over there. You could see this full on, and just maybe it's the way the angle of the light is now, but the colors are more magnificent from over here. I'm excited to see what that other overlook shows us, but I like this view better than the first one. I spy a couple tiny people sitting way up on top that really large bulbous sandstone formation, and I think that might be the second overlook right over this ways. Oh yeah, this is the best view of this stuff. You can see it's a little more rounded than I originally thought. I really didn't get this perspective of this thing earlier. I'm trying to surmise where the first overlook is. Didn't seem to take too long to get out here, but the main feature is this. Reminds me of Baskin's 31 flavors all mushed together in one bucket. I think Canyonlands has some of the remotest spots in any national park. There are different sections, but the views are endless. You don't see any signs of man out this a ways. All right, I was gonna say this was gonna be a little bit of a warm-up today, and I guess it was. Certainly got warm, I'm sweating. But now I'm gonna head back, and then we're gonna continue with the tour of Canyonlands. Now that I finished that, the Upheaval Dome, I am going to head into the uncharted territory of the rest of the park that I've never seen before. So I think my game plan is going to be to drive over to something called the Grand View Overlook, which is at the end of the next road. This is a dead end heading back towards the visitor center. Then I'm gonna head over there, and there's several stops and overlooks along the way that we'll probably get out and check out. And then I'm gonna head back towards the front. There's an arch that I wanna see if I can find parking. And then for the grand finale, I think we're gonna try to descend down into that Shafer Canyon Trail, or that Shafer Trail into that. I don't know the name of the canyon, to be honest. But that's the what I'm planning on for the grand finale. All right, we're here at the Green River Overlook. It's not too crowded at this one. I don't think we'll be here too long though at this. We'll just take a quick peek and see what we can see. Here we are at the Green River Overlook, 6,000 feet in elevation, higher elevation than I thought we were. But I guess that's why you got these juniper and pinyon pines thriving up here. They like it a little bit higher up. All right, this is a short one, so it's really just go up to the fence, take some photos, and go to the next thing, get some Instagram on. I like these reveals. Oh my God, look at that. Okay, that's something very special. I really wasn't prepared for this view, to be honest. This is blowing my mind. So I haven't received this view yet of Canyonlands. This is top notch. This is why I think people come here. One of the reasons. There's another overlook where we're gonna get to see that too, but just look at all that geology in action. The Green River is carving its way through that region. You have all those box canyons, like offshoots off of these other canyons. That is something. Wow. And this gives you like some bearings here, I guess, where there are different features, like a place called the Maze, somewhere off in that direction. A very remote part of the park where you probably need four-wheel drive. And look over here, look at the giant clouds sweeping over these cliff walls in real time. No time lapse needed, really. I mean, that's actually the truth. You don't need time lapse. You can sit here and see it move with your own eyes. It's very relaxing. This is the Grand View Overlook on a July Wednesday. And there's actually several parking spots open when I got here, and there continue to be. So a lot less congested than I had feared.
I didn't notice until I got back from the room.
Look down here really quick. Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me. Look at that. You could see like different colors, like stacked on one on top of one another, probably different layers of geologic time, and some of the dirt roads, that the hundreds of miles of off-roads that you can travel in this park. Wow. And I just can't believe how far you can see, even on a somewhat hazy day today, a little bit humid and dusty. Feels like I'm looking like 100 miles There's just canyons everywhere. Now I know why this place is called Canyonlands. I don't think I've seen this many canyons in a single location in my life. All right, I don't think this is even the main overlook, and I'm already in awe. There is a trail that goes about a mile this way, as it looks like I see folks hiking it to, I assume, another overlook. I think it would be wrong if I did not do that. The completionist in me would not be pleased. If you want to see something kind of freaky, I peeked over the edge of one of these and they're straight down. Sometimes I can handle it, but when you're talking like 1,000-foot drop, forget about it. But seriously, folks, this has got to be one of the best views in the United States. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I didn't realize how expansive this landscape actually was, because I've only seen it from way down inside in small canyons. All right, I have an idea. There's this little segment of rock that kind of goes out further than others, so we'll try to see if I can get out on this thing a little bit more without turning on my vertigo, and we'll look back this way. And I think where that lady is in that pink shirt and the ponytail is where I was standing looking over the edge. So yeah, I mean it's giving me the goosebumps. And like, look at that side. I don't know if you guys see the scale and the size on camera here, but just trust me, it's deep. So I'm making a quick diversion off trail. Well, a trail people have made over time to go see this other side, because keep in mind we are on an island of sorts, so you know, it's just like you're on an island. You can go to the other side of the island and see the ocean, and that's kind of what it feels like right now, because you can imagine it's being covered with water almost. And there you go, we're now on the other side a little bit. I could see an RV atop there where the parking lot is, so when I was holding my camera over the edge, that's what I was holding it over. And now we're looking on at this stuff from this angle, and no matter what angle you look at it from, it's all equally good. And I can actually see what I think is the Needles District way off in the horizon over there, which is another part of the park that can take a good couple hours to drive out to one way. But apparently there's a lot of like rock spires and other things, something I really want to do. And it's just really hard to fit it in when you're trying to cram a lot in, just because of the cost of driving. The time cost, really, is what I mean. And you can see the La Salle Mountains are almost completely enveloped in clouds again. I don't think it's gonna rain again today though out here. I don't really feel like it is. You got this little dead pine. I wonder if they have bristle cones out here. It's probably too hot for that. That's a nice little view, I'd say. Although there's nothing below there, so that tree's pushing it. So over here at the very tip is where I see the last rock cairn, so I'm assuming this is probably the overlook proper. And oh my gosh, it is beautiful with like these buttes and these spires over here. Admittedly, not the optimal time of the day to do this, but well worth the walk out here. So I can verify now that I've been here, It's definitely worth doing the 1 mile walk out here, another mile back for this. I mean, if you're gonna come all the way out here and you can manage it, you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't actually come all the way out here. I heard a couple distant rumbles of thunder, and on the way back I see this. In that short amount of time, you got this storm. You could see downpour of rain. Oh my gosh, but I think it's still pretty far off from us. I'm skeptical it's gonna reach this far, but if I'm gonna try to get down to that canyon, that dirt road, thunderstorms are the enemy of that. So for that reason, we gotta hustle. Still have 2 more things I wanna do. The last being the drive down that trail. Wow, so that Grand View Overlook was probably the best thing of the day, up with the Green River Overlook. I had seen pictures and videos of this, but it's one of those things that you can't experience until you're here standing in front of it to really understand the immenseness of what's before you. I think that might be, I'm deciding, is that my top favorite view in the United States? It might be. The Grand Canyon is special too, don't get me wrong. Being a native Arizonan, it's almost blasphemous to think that, but I tell you what, this might not have the, I don't know how you say it, I guess, the depth that you could see at the Grand Canyon. This is more about just like landscape stretching on forever. So I'm really trying to make a half day out of this, and I'm approaching what I think most would consider a half day and making good time. I think the next stop, which happens to be an arch, I think the only arch that's advertised, at least in Island of the Sky, that's my next stop. I think it's a short 0.6 mile trail, so it shouldn't take long at all. And then we'll see about that dirt road that we saw in the beginning. So this is a really short loop trail. I didn't even get the miles. I think 0.6 miles total. This is supposed to be one of the most panoramic viewpoints in the park with an arch to boot. Let's go see if that stands up. So this is the Mesa Arch trail so far. I decided to go clockwise. I saw people doing it in both directions and didn't see any recommendations or arrows. So I came this way so we can survey that storm from up here, hopefully. So I wasn't expecting a view like this here at this Mesa Arch before I got to this exit and read the sign, and they said this is one of the best panoramas in the park. It is, and you got the arch, and the arch frames it. That is, and the clouds were right behind the arch. Yeah, you could really see that storm. Oh, I found a beautiful spot. I'm right underneath the shade of a pine. And there's a nice breeze blowing, maybe because of that far off storm, I don't know. But it feels so good. Every once in a while, I don't think this mic will pick it up, you can hear the very far off sound of thunder. You could just sit on this rock and just take it all in for hours. Hours I don't have, unfortunately, but. All right, I'm gonna get back to the car, and then let's go see about this drive that I keep alluding to, huh? I have now arrived into the future for you. It is now the next day. I abandoned the quest to go down that drive just as the rain started to hammer this area. And then it ended up raining on and off throughout the night and all day long until about right now. It's about 4 p.m. the next day. And all of a sudden the storm broke up, and looking at the weather reports, everything looks legit. So I'm gonna attempt this Shafer Trail. Okay, so I asked the guy, and by the way, there's the sign right there for Shafer Trail Road, 4 miles. I asked the ranger at the stop in there if he thinks it's safe to do this after the rains, and he said, yeah. He's like, if you're okay with a little bit of mud, you should be fine. So but there's no reason to worry about not being able to get through here. All right, friends, everybody put your hands up. We're about to do this here. I have high expectations, but one thing that I thought this would help with also is that, you know, you really don't get to see from inside the canyon. Like, you're seeing everything from up above it, island of the sky, or island in the sky. So I think this is gonna help us really get views looking deep inside. And I did see people pulling over at Overlook. So whenever the opportunity arises, I will certainly take advantage of that. So far, it's a gravel road. It is pretty narrow. I mean, you could get two vehicles side by side on this. You'd have to really pull over and, you know, be cooperative. It's a narrow road. I really am curious about coming back up, though, from seeing what we saw above. It looked like a one-laner to me. I'm in a SUV, higher clearance than your average passenger car, but no four-wheel drive. It's got all-wheel drive. So this is not the type of vehicle you would want to take on the other back roads here. It's not recommended. But once again, I've seen lots of passenger cars, small vehicles do this. So I don't think it would be too scary for most people. And here we go. I think this is the part where you start to see people. Like when you're up on top, people are watching us drive by now, just like we were watching them yesterday. Now from the cockpit, it's a little hard to see. This is a little rough patch, but looking off to the left is really where the action is at. Once we come around some of these corners, maybe you'll get a glimpse. Okay, here's the scary corner, I would say. Oh, so if someone comes around here, there's room for two. You just have to be mindful. In fact, I don't know if this is a good idea for me to park here. I want to pull over. There's a pull off, but if two cars are competing to get by, I might be a nuisance. I can tell you though, the right to the left of me is a straight down drop almost. You can kind of see it actually on the video. That actually gives me a little bit of vertigo, actually. Okay, I'm gonna slow down, you know, so you can start to get those views off in the distance at the La Salle Mountains. One of the instigators, I think, of all these local storms that we keep getting around here. I'm not even halfway down yet, by the way. We still got a ways to go. And in fact, there's another pull off here that I want to get a couple photos from, because this is a much better view of what I was trying to show before. I'm standing on the edge of one of these precipices, looking out at the road I believe we're going to be connecting with. I see a junction down there, and like maybe that's a good place to turn around, and I think that might be where that white rim road might hook up, the one that's really for off-roading vehicles only. But this view is to die for. You got the La Salle Mountains in the background, this canyon. It's almost like it was set up this way on purpose. It's that perfect. The lighting isn't perfect now, of course, but wow. You're not going to get views like this, exactly like this, from up above. I'm sorry. And you can now see our position relative to the top. I think I see people up there. So I don't know how we're going to refer to this, but I'm going to say we're one tier down, whatever that means. Maybe like 100, 200 feet. And but the views have just opened up. I think I like this view almost better than anything I've seen in the Southwest now, because of the mountains perfectly framed in the background there. It's perfect. You're looking straight down this canyon. I don't think I've seen anything more perfect than that in my travels. It's like a little bit of the Grand Canyon meets Flagstaff. If you took one and put one on top of the other, this is what you imagine what it might look like if that the San Francisco peaks were at the end of the canyon. And here's a much better look at the road conditions. After a night and a full day of slow, steady rain, you can see how fast it's dried up. I mean, there's very few puddles now. So this might be a good learning for those of you planning here. Don't give up if you get some rain. It usually clears up pretty fast in the Southwest. Okay, now it's another section where the left side is getting all the fun. You know, maybe on the way back, as I'm filming, since the cameras will be reversed, you'll get the effect better. So, but you can see at times it's it's freaky. And you want to go slow around these corners. It's like playing peekaboo. Do I see you? Do you see me? Do we see each other, more importantly? And where does this road go? Oh, you could kind of see it going down. Oh wow, I see where the road's gonna go now. Okay, there's a view for you of what we're about to do. This thing starts to snake its way down really fast. And you can't even see the whole thing. It's such a steep canyon there, but it emerges somewhere out that ways. Okay, so I'm figuring probably this section might just be a lot of cockpit view and commentary as I rush towards the bottom. 2 reasons. I don't know if I see places to pull off actually, but I don't know if the view is going to be better than what we've already seen. That one stop, they're not named, where I could see the La Salle Mountains in the background. If that's as far as you go for that photo op, then that's cool. Like, make time for at least that. But I have a feeling once we're down in there, you're going to see what Canyonlands is really all about and why it's named Canyonlands. So I did see people driving in a, looks like a Range Rover, Mercedes or something, SUV, down this ways. I don't know where they are. There they come. This is a, slow down fella. I'm gonna go this way and yield to you. You gotta yield to the people going uphill, like I did right there. I pulled over and made sure that he safely passed. Something that I didn't really know that was the rule until the ranger told me, so I'm gonna guess most people are not aware of that. But if you think about it, it makes sense because they're gonna be closer to the edge when you go up, so you're closer to the wall. No way. I'm having a Bill and Ted's moment here. That just drops off, like, well, maybe not. That's where the road curves down, but it feels like there's the end of the earth right there. This is that curvy section of road. Oh, and I could see the road down below in the bottom. Oh my gosh, it's far down there. I don't know if there's any opportunities to really pull over safely on this part because of the potential for multiple vehicles needing to pass each other on these corners. Probably not recommended. But you could see there's not too many people here either. But if I can find a safe spot to pull over, I will. And this is like a very precarious spot too. This is freaky. But you people on the right are now getting the excitement, I would say. Now you know what I've been feeling this whole time. Oh wow, so here you go. Here's the road as seen from above. Probably not even halfway down yet, but we're heading off somewhere down there so we can turn around. And then we'll have completed my checklist. Okay, that was another beautiful overlook. For real, I need to, for sake of time, make a chug towards the very bottom. And if I can do that on the way back up, I might, if I see any really good overlooks that I missed, I'll stop, time permitting. But this part of the road is very narrow. This is not passable right here for 2 vehicles, no way, no how. So you're gonna have to kind of use your best judgment if you see others coming, and wait. Be cognizant of that. Well, I guess my intent to just head straight down there is fine because I haven't seen any safe places to pull off on this section. So, and yeah, this part's pretty scary. Like for 2 vehicles passing one another, it's gotten a lot tighter. But once again, I haven't seen any other people, so I've been lucky so far. Wow, this part of the road says it all right here. The view you see right now, looking forward, that's the money shot. And you can kind of see the top of the canyon, a little sliver of it for a moment. Not right now though, we're about to go down. Lots of nice places to pull off though at this point. You could make a half day out of this adventure, I bet. And I might actually come back someday and film the whole drive. Apparently you can drive this in this type of a vehicle safely if there's not been major storms and go all the way to Moab. And I've seen where it comes out on the other end. I think it's right across from Arches National Park. So that would be something to consider doing, is just really get to enjoy and drive this landscape between the national parks. I think we're nearing the bottom actually. I think I've achieved another goal. I always set little daily goals of things that I really want to accomplish. And I love when the goals are these types of things. And time-wise, I'm probably a little over budget from what I originally intended, but for this kind of an experience, you gotta make some concessions sometimes. I think it's about to turn into like a, I don't know if this is pavement or just gravel. How would it be pavement really? It is, actually I think it is slightly paved here. Oh, that's luxury after what we just drove down. Make better time this way too. All right, well, let's go find a central point down at the bottom of this canyon and then let's talk. Although it's very hazy now and you got the sun right in our face, right in the center of the screen is the wall we just scaled on all those switchbacks that we're gonna have to turn around and go back up. But now you can see Canyonlands, the actual island that's considered the island in the sky, this mesa up here. And I don't even think, you know, that probably is the top actually, because I can see some pines at the very top. So when I hiked down that syncline loop trail that I mentioned earlier when we were overlooking the Upheaval Dome, like when you get down in there, like you get into canyons and you see a lot of these like chocolatey red looking cliffs. This is what you see from there. So it's a lot different of a perspective from down below than what most people are experiencing from the top. Don't get me wrong, the top is over the top, but you gotta come down here at least this far. All right, I think we were able to check off most of the boxes of the touristy view of Canyonlands at Island in the Sky. We did a very casual tour by car. We walked a little bit and we drove to the depths so we could experience Canyonlands from where I think it's meant to be enjoyed, inside the canyons. Please, if you ever have a chance in life to come out and visit these spectacular national parks in Utah, you want to make time in your life to do that if possible. I will see you next time, and happy travels.